The teenage phase with your dog is by far the most challenging, and it is where most of the most severe behaviour problems come from. Now, there are many common mistakes that people make when it comes through getting through the teenage phase successfully. And in this video, I'm going to give you my tips to make sure that you don't make those same mistakes and that you have the dream canine companion that you've always wanted. So the dreaded teenage phase with your dog, it is true that it is where so many people start to have huge problems with their dogs. The reason that so many people have trouble at this stage is because of one main mistake. They think they're done. When it comes to training young puppies, it often goes really fast and you often have a huge amount of success. So you get to a point where you're happy with your dog, then you get complacent, you take your foot off the gas, and then the teenage phase hits and then things go off a cliff very, very quickly. Now, if that's the mistake, how can you fix that mistake? Well, I'm going to show you 3 tips that you should be doing to help make the teenage phase, the nightmare of dog ownership, to being able to cruise through it successfully. So to help make sure you're not making those same mistakes, you have to remember my pyramid of success. And my pyramid of success is built on the foundations of leadership, and then how that leadership impacts the relationship you have with your dogs, and how that relationship then informs communication. Because if you can communicate well with your dogs, you can tell them what you do want, what you don't want, and then every problem is solved. And the single best way to make sure that relationship informed by incredible leadership is exactly where you need it to be, is to have the ability to go on a loose lead walk every single day where your dogs are following your guidance and direction. I call this every single day putting pennies in the piggy bank of leadership. Doing this every day so that in that teenage phase where you need to make withdrawals from that piggy bank of leadership, you're keeping it topped up so that you can navigate any issues easily, effectively, and swiftly when they will arise. So the next tip to help make sure that you don't fall into any of the teenage phase traps is around teaching your dog a really solid leave it command. The leave it command is incredibly powerful, especially as they go through that teenage phase and start to test boundaries, start to let their confidence shine, maybe start to display some resource guarding behaviors or minor levels of aggression towards other dogs, maybe reactivity on a lead. By having a rock solid leave it command, you can efficiently and effectively communicate to your dog, stop doing whatever you're doing right now. Leave that alone, bring your attention back to me, because I'm going to communicate what it is that we need to do next. Now, the way we teach a leave it command is very, very straightforward. We use a couple of pieces of food, and I'm going to use my trusty slip lead so that we can set our dogs up for success, guarantee success, and if need be, communicate to them very effectively if they are not leaving what it is that we're teaching them to leave. So I'm going to have my slip lead on, and I'm going to let Riley know here that there's a piece of food. I'm going to put that piece of food on the floor and I'm going to make it very, very clear with a leave it command, leave it. Now, if she breaks for that food, I'm going to use a verbal correction and my slip lead to help me make sure that she doesn't get that piece of food. When she then looks up to me for guidance and direction, I'm going to reward her. And we're going to practice this drill. I'm going to show you how we can level it up to get to a point that no matter what it is that she wants to go for, if I tell her to leave it, she must leave it. Now, this might seem a little bit unnecessary, a little bit even harsh, but think about where we can use this. If your teenage dog is becoming reactive and aggressive towards other dogs, maybe displaying resource guarding behaviors, if we can teach this in a safe and as fun as possible way, if those behaviors start to display themselves, we can now use it to stop disasters from happening, to prevent dog fights, to prevent bites, to keep the dog under control and help them understand that even if they're going through this teenage phase, they have to listen to us. So let's show you what that looks like. So I'm going to show her that I've got a piece of food in this hand. I've got my slip lead at the ready. I'm going to put it down. Leave it. When she brings her attention back to me, she gets paid with the food in my hand, and I remove this one. Really simple process. We're going to do the same thing. Let her know that I've got some food in my hand. She's after it. I'm going to make it leave it. When the attention comes back to me, she gets paid and I remove that one. With a little bit of pressure on the lead just to stop her from going for it, and as soon as she relaxes, looks up to me for guidance and direction, she then gets paid by the other piece of food. So we're teaching impulse control. We're teaching her that even though there's something highly desirable that she wants to pursue, she must look up and listen to my guidance and direction. And by having that in your arsenal will make huge amounts of progress for you cruising through the teenage phase with as little problems as possible. Place. Yeah, good girls, good girls. So the next step to help make sure that you get through the teenage phase as successfully as possible is making sure that you put a barrier to entry in front of anything that the dogs find highly desirable. Now, the way that you do that is really simple. You teach a basic sit, stay and break command, and then we learn how to put those things together in front of anything that the dog finds desirable. So if the dog loves their food, don't allow them free access to their food. If your dog loves praise and attention, don't give them free access to the praise and the attention. If your dog loves their toys, don't give them free access. They're gonna have all of those things. Don't worry. Our dogs can have everything that they love, but we're simply going to put a barrier to entry in place. So if you want to get through that teenage phase and be left with an amazing, perfect canine companion just like Puppy, remember, barrier to entry, leave it drill, structured pack walk every day to make sure that your pyramid of success is bomb-proof and you'll cruise through the teenage phase, and it doesn't need to be the disaster that it is for so many people. Isn't that right, Puppy? Yes, it is. So do Puppy a favour, subscribe to this channel. We do videos like this every single week, and I can't wait to see you on the next episode.